Your salary is not your income, it is your ceiling. Every 2 weeks or every month, something happens in your brain. The deposit lands. The number appears. And your nervous system exhales. Not because you are thriving, but because the threat has been temporarily removed. That exhale, that biological sigh of relief, is the most expensive breath you will ever take. Because what it is actually doing is sedating you. Psychologists have a name for what a regular paycheck does to the human brain. They call it the certainty bias, the neurological preference for a guaranteed smaller reward over an uncertain larger one. Your brain, when given the choice between a fixed salary and uncapped independent income, will choose the fixed salary almost every time. Not because it is smarter, because it is scared. And a scared brain does not build wealth. A scared brain manages survival. The moment I realized my salary was not paying me, it was owning me, was the moment I understood the Hedonic Treadmill. Here is how it works. You get a raise. You feel good for approximately 3 weeks. Then your lifestyle expands to meet the new number. A better apartment, a newer car, a slightly more expensive version of every habit you already had. And suddenly the raise is gone. Not stolen or spent. Voluntarily. Enthusiastically. So you work harder to get the next raise, which funds the next lifestyle upgrade, which creates the next gap between what you earn and what you need. This is not a personal failure. This is a design feature. The salary structure was never built to make you wealthy. It was built to keep you functional, productive enough to show up Monday morning, and dependent enough to never seriously consider leaving. The golden handcuffs are not a metaphor. They are a mechanism. And most people are wearing them so comfortably they have mistaken them for jewelry. Here is what nobody tells you about long-term employment. Comfort is a de-skilling agent. Every year you spend inside a structure that handles your taxes, negotiates your benefits, assigns your projects, and manages your schedule is a year your raw survival instincts go unused. And unused instincts atrophy. In 2026, the digital marketplace moves at a speed that the traditional employment model was never designed to navigate. New income streams emerge and mature in months. Platforms that didn't exist 3 years ago are now generating life-changing income for people who learned to move fast. The entrepreneur sees this landscape and sees opportunity. The long-term employee sees it and feels overwhelmed not because they are less intelligent, but because their cognitive muscles for navigating uncertainty have not been trained. They have been trained to wait for direction, to follow the process, to stay in their lane. And here is the most dangerous part of all of this. You have outsourced your financial survival to a single entity, one company, one contract, one relationship that can terminate your income with a single phone call. We talked about this in a previous video. The 3-minute call that ends 5 years of loyalty. That is not security. That is a single point of failure dressed up in the language of stability. The entrepreneur who loses one client still has 9 others. The employee who loses their job has nothing until someone else decides to give them something. Which version of that story sounds more secure to you? Let us talk about what job security actually looks like in 2026. Because the narrative we inherited that a salary is the low-risk option was built for a labor market that no longer exists. In the last 18 months alone, major corporations across technology, finance, media, and retail have conducted mass layoffs that eliminated hundreds of thousands of roles. Not because those companies were failing. Many of them were reporting record profits in the same quarter they announced the cuts. The reason was efficiency. Specifically algorithmic efficiency and AI-driven restructuring. The work is not disappearing. The human doing the work is being replaced by a system that does it faster, cheaper, and without benefits. This is not speculation. This is the documented trajectory of 2026. So, when someone tells you that a salary is the safe choice, ask them, safe compared to what? Safe for how long? And safe according to whose timeline? The hidden cost of putting 100% of your earning power in someone else's hands is not visible on your pay stub. It shows up the day they decide they no longer need you. And that day in 2026 is arriving faster than any previous generation was ever warned about. The predictable paycheck stops being a tool for growth the moment you realize it has a ceiling, and that ceiling was set by someone who will never lose sleep over whether it is enough for you. So, what do you actually do about it? Let me be very clear about something before I answer that. I am not telling you to quit your job tomorrow. I am not romanticizing financial recklessness or pretending that everyone has the same starting point. What I am telling you is this: the transition from salary dependence to autonomous wealth is not a leap. It is a migration. A calculated, intentional, step-by-step migration toward a financial architecture that does not depend on a single entity for its survival. Here is what that migration looks like in practice. Step 1. Decouple your time from your income. A salary pays you for hours. Wealth pays you for value. The moment you begin building assets, content, products, systems, intellectual property that generate income while you sleep, you have begun the migration. Step 2. Build a personal brand. In 2026, your personal brand is your most recession-proof asset. A digital ecosystem, a YouTube channel, a newsletter, a body of work that demonstrates your expertise to the marketplace is a 24/7 lead generator that no company can terminate. Every video you post is a sales conversation you are not present for. Every piece of content you create is an asset that compounds over time. Step 3. Start before you are ready. The biggest lie the salary trap tells you is that you need more time, more money, more security before you can begin. You do not. You need one skill the market values, one platform to demonstrate it, and the discipline to show up consistently while the salary is still paying your bills. Build the bridge before you burn the boat. The goal is not freedom from work. The goal is sovereignty over your work, the ability to decide what you build, who you serve, and what your time is worth. That is not a fantasy. That is a decision. Let me leave you with the real mathematics of the salary trap. Not the numbers on your pay stub. The numbers that never appear anywhere. The cost of the idea you never pursued because the salary made the risk feel unnecessary. The cost of the skill you never developed because the job never required it. The cost of the decade you spent building someone else's asset instead of your own. The cost of the ceiling, that invisible, unspoken, contractually implied ceiling. That told you this number is what you are worth and dared you to argue. Your paycheck is not your enemy. It is a tool. But a tool that becomes your only tool is no longer a tool. It is a dependency. And dependencies, financial, psychological, professional, are the silent architects of a life that looks stable from the outside and feels like a cage from the inside. You were not born to optimize someone else's spreadsheet. Start building your own. If this shifted something for you, share it with someone who is still inside the trap and doesn't know it yet. Subscribe for more honest conversations about money, autonomy, and the things the system was never designed to teach you. Drop a comment. What is the one thing keeping you inside the salary trap right now? Let's talk about it below. I'll see you in the next one.